There are several aspects of Taylor Heinicke's skill set that simply cannot be quantified by normal statistics. From his grit to his sheer desire to win, and just his ability to make everyone around him better. Those things will not be shown on any analytics website, but his teammates have seen how those intangibles can affect the game.
But the kid he's a gamer, and I think everybody knows that.
This man was drafted out of Old Dominion. A 4-year college starter for the Monarchs, Heinicke finished his college career with nearly 15,000 passing yards and 132 passing touchdowns, both school records, and just 39 interceptions. He also can move the ball really well by running it. He finished his 4-year college career with 22 rushing touchdowns. By the time he graduated from Old Dominion, Heinicke almost had every single passing record to his name. His 15,000 passing yards is 9,000 more than the closest person, and his 132 passing touchdowns is 80 more than the closest person. Heinicke finished his college career with 7 games of 450 passing yards or more, including a record-setting 730 passing yards and 5 touchdowns in a 64-61 victory over New Hampshire in 2012. This man was no joke in college. And obviously, Old Dominion isn't playing against the best teams in college football, but with stats like this, how does he go undrafted? He wasn't even invited to the NFL Combine. His March Pro Day provided an opportunity to put a show on for the NFL eyes, and the reviews were really positive. I don't know if Taylor could have done any better, Old Dominion coach Bobby Wilder said. If you ask me, the Combine has just become outdated at this point, and the NFL already proved things would work without a full Combine, because in 2021, the NFL Combine was altered due to the pandemic. I'm not exactly saying the NFL Combine isn't needed, or it shouldn't be used at all, but the only measurables of a player isn't just how far they can jump or how fast they run. It's just mind-blowing to me to see how many draft prospects that had a really good combine and everyone got all excited about them and they ended up being a bust in the NFL. Or you got a guy who had a pretty good combine or just okay and fell in the draft but ended up having a really good career. A perfect example is Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry had a great college career. Jarvis Landry was a stud in college, and he also has been really good in the NFL overall. He's just a legit NFL player, and if you didn't know, he had a really bad combine. Landry had one of the worst 40-yard dash times among receivers at the combine, running a 4.77. His vertical was second to worst at the position and ended up falling to the second round. But before the combine, he was considered a lock as a first-round pick. Then you get guys like Julio Jones, Trent Williams, Saquon Barkley, Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders. All of these guys had historic combines and ended up having incredible careers or are currently having really good careers. But do we need the combine to know that these guys were going to be good? All these guys were studs in college and we knew that they were going to be good and they ended up being good. The combine at this point, in my opinion, is just a full-on money grab. They really should only have it to invite guys like Taylor Heinicke, who had stellar college careers but played at a D2 school or a lower-level D1 school, and you weren't able to get enough film on you or get in front of the NFL teams, so you use that NFL combine to have that opportunity to showcase your stuff. And speaking about the access, we have come so far when it comes to having access on people. You can just be a normal person just like me and go watch someone's game and study the film on them. Imagine what these billion-dollar franchises have access to. It's just unnecessary to have these stud prospects go to the combine and be nasty and everyone gawk at them. It does absolutely nothing. And honestly, I would argue that it only hurts you if you're that good. You can suffer an injury, you can have a bad combine, quote unquote, and everyone's gonna say, oh no, he's not really a first round pick, he's a second round pick, but he's a stud in the first place. So what does that last stitch effort matter? And to give an example of a player that was really good in the draft that ends up being a bust in the NFL is a guy named Tony Mandarich. If you don't know who he is, Tony was one of the best offensive line prospects in NFL history. He had a historic performance in that 1989 combine that led him to be selected second overall in that year's NFL draft. At 330 pounds, he put up a ridiculous 4.65 at the 40-yard dash and completed 39 bench press reps, feats that were practically unheard of at the time. And Tony himself even calls himself a bust. And some would say he's one of the biggest busts in NFL history. Tony had attitude problems, steroids, and most of all, substance abuse issues, which made him fall well below the expectations he had for himself in his very brief NFL career. This brings me back to my original original point. Tony's a perfect example of talent. That talent will jump off the sheet and slap you in the face at the combine. Massive person, can run fast, can bench a lot, can jump, can do everything you want him to do, and is a lock for the Hall of Fame career in the NFL because he can do all that, right? Nope. Just because you have talent doesn't mean you're going to be awesome in the NFL. Everyone who gets drafted to the NFL at this point is talented. What makes you different is intangibles like what Taylor Heinicke has. If you go back to Heinicke, he's an undrafted guy, doesn't have insane measurables, but throws the ball well, can move a little bit, goes undrafted, scratches and claws at all the opportunities he's given, and makes it to the NFL and's actually making a name for himself in the league. We need to find out a way to get a test that can prove someone's intangibles besides the fact of them just running fast or jumping. This is something far above my pay grade, and I'm sure that these NFL franchises can do it. They just haven't looked into it enough, or they just don't care. I'm extremely hopeful that this happens someday because guys that really should be in the NFL may not be because they're not the most talented guy in the room. That's it, guys. If you made it this far in the video, you obviously liked it a little bit, so make sure you leave a comment, leave a like, sub to the channel because we're doing this every single week. Talk to you guys soon.